moment in time, I was expecting to be somewhere within the stands at the London Stadium, about to watch West Ham Norwich. And then the other day, the plug got pulled. The rug was literally pulled from under my feet, Duke. You was going to be doing a watch along for it. So we thought, what are we going to do to fill our time? So here we are, transfer talk. Why not?
You never said anything about filling time. You filling something else. You never mentioned the word time.
Easy. Let's not go there. Before we get into it, guys, just a little bit of housekeeping. Please don't forget, this is, as always, in the description below YouTube and Facebook. Please copy and paste this. Put it onto your social media platforms. Let's keep the support behind Isla's campaign. You've got a Just Giving link there as well. So if you've got a few... I know we're coming up to Christmas, guys, and it's been a crap year, 18 months, whatever. But please, if you've got anything at all that you can put to make this little girl every day for her Christmas, please, you've got the Just Giving link there. No donations too small. Give generously. We thank you very much indeed for your support on this matter. As always, please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Duke, please don't die on me, my friend. For those of you that are unaware, he's got COVID.
Ooh, that was a cough and half, that one.
Larry's turned up. Larry's turned up from Auburn, Alabama. Pete's a little bit closer to home.
Not much, to be fair.
I think I'd prefer to drive to Leicester than I would Auburn, Alabama, because I don't think my car would go too well across the Atlantic.
Get yourself a duck boat.
Those ones that you see on the River Thames.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Did you see that one that went up in flames?
No.
Oh, yeah, that was a couple of years back. Yeah, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. No. Anyway, should we get down to it, Duke?
Let's do it. Let's have some fun. That's what we're here for.
Right. First one I want to discuss. Now, there's a few here, guys. There's loads of material out there, but how much of it actually is just paper talk and how much of it actually has a kernel of truth? Listen, we'll chat about it amongst ourselves. Okay, first one I want to talk about, if I may, Duke, is this story here, which is a fairly recent one, which actually you brought to my attention. I'll give you credit for this one. Just before we went live, you said, "Have you heard about this one, Gatesy?" And I was like, "No." So, Duke, talk to me. Luca Digne, discuss.
Yeah, listen, we had this idea, didn't we, about going live with a couple of the guys that you've got. Where have I gone? What are you doing, man?
I don't know. I pressed the wrong button.
You've been doing this long enough. You know now. Come on. Yeah, I went onto the News Now website before you and me went live, just to have a little nose while you were doing your bits and pieces, and it was one that jumped out at me. It's off of obviously Hammer's News. And it's not a direct link that we've been, we've inquired or anything like that. Basically, the story goes on to state that, Digne's had a bust up with Benitez at Everton, and a little bit further down in the article there, it does state that Everton will listen to offers in January for him. Now, that being said, we know the situation we find ourselves at left back.
Yes.
Cresswell's been injured. Mass has come in. And we all know my feelings about the defensive frailties of Arthur Masuaku, going forward. Fine, I can deal with that. But defensively, he's not good enough. Now, I know, Gatesy, that you have, a long-standing, I won't say love affair with Luca Digne, but you've made your feelings quite clear, about him over the last year or since we've been doing the channel,
quality, mate.
10 months. And it was the one reason it jumped out at me. Now, that being said, I'd be all over this as a transfer. It's more West Ham fans stating, tagging the club in on Twitter, Moyes, make sure you sign this man at West Ham, let's get an offer in, etc. Rather.
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to start doing this when I start dicking around with Kareem Adeyemi and Dennis Zakaria. I'm going to start tagging the club in my comments on this because maybe we'll start looking. But it seems, listen, I think he's had a fallout because of the way that Everton have been playing. Now, if you know, we'll come to it later, Gatesy, because I want to touch on it later anyway because it's a transfer. It's a transfer news. It's just the possibility of an outgoing, not an income. So it's still transfer news. But Declan Rice the other day stated that he was pissed off with the way we played and he was upset for all intents and purposes. Now, that's all Digne's done. He's made it clear that he's not happy with the way that Everton are playing. And he's entitled...
I don't think we're getting him.
He's entitled to make a comment if he's not happy with the way that they're playing or anything else. Now, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't done it publicly. I've not heard any grumblings of this ilk. I've not seen any. I've not seen any stuff in the press other than what I saw today about Digne being unhappy and kicking off with Benitez. So this is the first I've heard of it. So he's obviously done it behind the scenes. Go on, boy. Enjoy.
Why not? Madness can't be bad. You enjoy it, mate. Love it.
Yeah. So, you know, whether or not he's a troublemaker, different, you know. But the fact is, he's entitled to have his opinion. He's entitled to go to the boss and say, look, boss, I don't think this is working. We've got to change something, you know, because I'd be a bit peeved if Noble or Deck didn't go to Moyes and say, look, Moyesy, son, this is shit, sort it out. You see what I mean? So I'd be, you know, I'd be all behind this signing, Casey, all behind it.
Yeah. Look at some of the teams that he's played for. He's been at Paris Saint-Germain. He's been at Barcelona. He's been at Roma. He's been at Lille. So he's been around the block and he's got 43 caps for the world champions. Let's not forget. I'm fairly sure he was part of. Was he part of the team in the final? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he was in the squad. His contract, however, goes to 2025. But if you've got an unhappy player who wants out,
we did it, didn't we? We did it with Dimitri. He was unhappy. He wanted out. You know, he had an extended contract, as I do, if I remember right. Same as Marco. You know, Marco Arnautovic, Dimitri Payet, if I remember rightly, they both signed new contracts pretty, you know, recently to their moves. So, listen, I'd take Digne. I'll be honest with you. I think it'd be a cracking signing when you consider our situation at left back. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, Kent. True. I can go with that. My only concern is, saying that, my only change in my opinion on that one would be if we could get Glenn Johnson.
Freudian slip. I can edit it out. Oh no, this is live.
COVID hallucinations. If we could get Johnson to feel comfortable on the left, as well as he's been playing on the right, and then Ashby can play as the backup to Soufal, whereas, you know, so you've got two left backs there in Cress and
we got that much.
Can get us right. It depends on the flavour of the wine gum, Luke. Right, if it's a black one or it's a red one, I know they're not flavours, and I know that all wine gums are the same flavour. Did you know this, Rob?
They are, yeah. I mean,
all wine gums are the same flavour, but the colours make you think they're different. Now,
it's like the jelly babies,
and the red ones are better. Quite simply put, right?
When you have a jelly baby, Duke, do you bite the head off? Are you a sicko? Right. Yeah, same as me. Right. Yeah.
That's if I do it like that. Sometimes I might just grab the packet and pour like you do the end of your crisp. Just fuck it, get them all in.
You do that as well. I thought it was just me.
Yellow ones are the weak link. Goodbye. Agreed.
She's not in it now. weakest link.
No.
They've replaced her. I saw it.
No, because she got a bit of an attitude or something, didn't she? I think there was something.
That's what made it.
Got a bit of a. No, this was beyond that. This might be.
She a little bit of a diva.
Yeah.
Who is it that's taken over from her?
No idea. I don't watch the show.
I saw something. It's a bit like when I found out Clarkson had taken over from Tarrant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, it is Sharky. It is. There was an advert for it the other day, and someone's taken over the role of Anne Robinson. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Romesh Ranganathan. Yeah. It's easy for you to say.
Ken, I am suffering still, my friend. As you probably see, I keep disappearing to cough half a lung up every 5 minutes. To give you an idea, I quoted yesterday. I'm not sure if I sent it to Rob, but I feel like I'm breathing through I feel like my back's on fire because it's sensitive to touch. I feel like my back's on fire. I feel like I'm breathing through a wet cloth. I feel like I'm one step away from a headache, and I've got a nose like Niagara Falls at times. It's horrible. It is a heavy. These symptoms are a heavy cold. It's a rotten heavy cold, these ones. But it's the cough, because I've now coughed everything raw in my chest and in my throat, and it's just every time I cough, it hurts now. It hurts. So I'm trying to avoid taking painkillers through the day and live with the pain during the day, and then of a night time, neck a load of painkillers, give it an hour, then get in bed. Then get in bed. Got my old pub, the one that I'm currently living at, the one downstairs, the one that I lost my job from. They closed yesterday due to a COVID. Well, I say a COVID outbreak. They've lost 9 members of staff, 3 of them to COVID. 5 had left. 5 had left, including myself and my partner. One's gone on early maternity, and they only replaced 1 member of staff out of the 6.
And of course, who'd booked to go there for Christmas dinner? Yeah, so that's my Christmas dinner gone tits up. But every cloud and all that, because yesterday my son, who obviously works there still, he had to go there because they've got a load of food in the fridge, freezer, whatever, that's not going to get used. So, I got shitloads, mate. We've got mango chicken, we've got burgers, we've got chicken wings, we've got burger rolls, got fucking loads.
Good. I'm glad it went somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm glad it went somewhere where it's going to be used and it's appreciated.
Yeah. I've got to say, I tried a little bit. George was cooking off the mango chicken a little earlier.
Oh, that's banging.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
If I may, Mr. Rob.
Yeah.
Burger bun.
Yep.
Burger.
Yep.
No, sorry. Burger bun.
Yep.
Cheese. Burger.
Yep.
Bacon. Cheese.
Yeah.
Mango chicken thigh.
Oh, cheeky.
Ketchup.
Oh.
Burger bun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to remember all of it. You're going to have to send it to me on a WhatsApp message.
That's what I used to cook when I was in the kitchen. That'd be my lunch for me. I'd cook that and then go out and sit out and eat it. Ooh,
ringworm or chicken pox. Oh, dear.
Well, Scott, just there. Sorry, Scott, just to let you know, because of this, I was meant to start my new job with Craft Union on Monday. It was meant to be when I took over the Lewisham Tavern. Obviously, that's now had to be dropped back by 5 days.
This place.
10 days. That place. Yeah, that one there. I was meant to be taking that on Monday, the 20th. Obviously, that's now been put back to the 27th because, obviously, I've come down with COVID, so I can't even take that on. So now, from that, it then gives me 9 days to move this entire flat from here to the new gaff, which is going to be a significant undertaking, to say the least.
I would say I've obviously got a van and I'll help you out, but unless Boris says otherwise, I'm going to be in Norfolk.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? And enjoy that while you're there, sir. Hey, It's banging though.
I'll have to try it. Like I say, you'll have to send it to me on. I'm not going to remember all of that. I lost you after Burger Bun. burger bun cheese, and then I think after that it was all a bit sort of yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so that's the first one, Luca Digne. I mean, guys in the live chat, what do you think? I think the guy's a quality player, and I think if there's any possibility, if he's annoyed at what's going on at Everton, if he's fallen out with the manager, my only thing is I actually think that if anyone's going to leave Goodison Park, it's not going to be Luca Digne, it's going to be Rafa Benitez. That's usually the way it works. But if he should become available, I'd be all over that. I agree with what Kent said earlier, that he does have a little bit of a questionable injury record. It's not Andy Carroll-like status, but he picks up the odd knock here and there. But, I mean, if you're rotating him with Aaron Cresswell, you could get sort of like an awful lot of mileage out of the pair of them, I guess. So Kent says he reckons he's been to that gaff a few times. Well, come down again, mate. You know, once Duke takes over, you know, and Duke will look after. It's not like the Bull. If any of you that ever came down to the Bull was, you know yourself, didn't you, Duke? It was very much sort of like a pub with a restaurant sort of section kitchen bolted onto it. Whereas the Lewisham Tavern, it's a boozer. Done. The only food you're getting in there is packets of crisps, nuts, and maybe a bag of pork scratchings if you're feeling a little bit adventurous.
Or if I can put something in place across the road with Nando's, and see if we can get something going on with the Nando's and the takeaway.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's saying Digne would be a thumbs up. I mean, there's obviously what Luke says about the money, but I suppose if you've got an unhappy player, then I suppose are you going to be able to demand top dollar for a player that everybody knows doesn't want to be there? So, Kieran, hope you're well. It must be really horrible being an Englishman in Australia at the minute. What the hell is going on with our lads? It's like they've all gone out to bat and they've left the bat in the bloody changing rooms. And it's like, oh, shit. And the balls come sort of like herring down the crease. Oh, there go their stumps again. Next! Crap.
They're trying to hit them with their cocks. That's the problem.
I think they do a better job with their cocks, to be quite
I don't think they would, mate. I think they might hurt.
Yeah, a good old-fashioned pub. Exactly what Steve says. The Lewisham Tavern, it's a proper old school boozer. I would like to say spit and sawdust, but probably health and safety don't allow that sort of thing. So.
I'll tell you what, it's such a nice place. Downstairs, anyway.
Yeah, she found that out the hard way, but never mind.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Don't worry about it. Casey, I've just read something that's just come up on News Now website. Which,
go for it.
If I'm honest, considering we do this quite often.
Yep.
And I knew that Ogbonna, Fredericks, Fab, and Yarmolenko are out of contract in the summer.
Yep.
I have just seen that West Ham are struggling to come up with an offer that will both placate the club and Mikel Antonio for an extension of his contract, which runs out in June. I didn't realise.
I think it's June the following year, isn't it? It's not 2022, it's 23.
It says here. It says here.
Yeah.
Mickey Antonio.
Do you want to share
it? Will be struggling. Yeah. No, because it's got a video of a man with glasses on it.
Oh.
Looking over it. Handsome fella with a beard in his shed at the end of his garden with a Street Fighter arcade machine and a looks like an Avengers pinball machine in the back of it.
Ah.
You know what I'm on about. I don't mind chatting his face
I know. When you said about pinball machines, I was like, I know exactly who you're on about.
What we will end up with, though, Gatesy,
is
we will end up with the absolute... Oh, actually, I might be able to do it this way. Hang on. If I do that, and then I do that.
Oh, hello. Oh, it worked. Oh, hang on.
Hey, hang on.
Have you been having the magic mushrooms again? I've told you about that.
Yeah, look at that. Look how good I am.
Oh.
So it says there, Mickey Antonio will be struggling for a sizable new deal should his current run of poor form continue. The 31-year-old out of contract in June and has always made it clear he wants to end his career at the club. He hits his 32nd birthday in March. Now, everyone else is saying here that I'm guessing this is his contract had an option. So is that for us or for him, Ken? Because it currently states that he's out of contract this year.
Okay.
So I don't know. Listen, I don't tend to, without being, I don't necessarily mean to be disrespectful, but I don't necessarily take note of what a lot of these guys say on their website and on their channel, because they just seem to be a bit of a pro board, shall we say? So,
yep.
But yeah, I'll be honest with you.
Their own.
Yeah, I know, it's fair enough. I didn't realise that he was obviously out of contract this summer. So, yeah, I know, Ken. It's just what pops up, mate. I'm just, News Now website I use. But that's a concern for me, Rob. That's a bit of a concern for me that we now go.
Not the way he's been playing lately, though.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it sounds really bad and epic. I'm not far off of what you're saying.
Well, we wouldn't get much from him if he's out of contract in the summer.
But I'm at a point, mate, where I turn around and say, if he doesn't pick up again, the question is, what kind of contract do you offer him? Does he accept it? And then that way he just goes anyway. We were in a bit of a hole on that one with regards to strikers.
Well, maybe not, because one of the other stories that I've got, I was going to do this one towards the end, but seeing as we're on the subject of strikers, I'm going to go with this next transfer story that has we've been linked with a player. And let me just hang on. This one here. There we go. So for the ladies and gentlemen at home, so you can see it. This is, again, we don't make the stories up. We're just bringing you the stories that are already out there. It's not us sort of like waffling away. This is from Give Me Sport. West Ham transfer news. Moyes is likely to sign 19-year-old over Belotti or Martial. Who's the 19-year-old? Well, he's someone that we've been linked with quite a bit. His name is Adam Hložek from Sparta Prague. Czech international, 19 years of age. This guy basically can play anywhere across the front three, left, right, or central. He's got 12 caps for the Czech Republic. He's got 1 goal. He's played for the youth grade teams as well for his national team, 21, 17, 16s, and 15s. His transfer market value is rated at 15.3 million. Obviously, we do take that with a pinch of salt. He's 1.88 meters tall, which I believe is about 6'3", 6'4", something like that in old money. Contract at Sparta goes till the 30th of June 2024. If you look at his stats in the Fortuna Liga this season, I have to say, he's not been very prolific as far as scoring goals is concerned. In 17 league appearances, he's got 4 goals. However, he's got 11 assists. So he's got 15 goal involvements in 17 matches. If you want to throw in the stats in the Europa League as well, 5 appearances, 1 goal, no assist. Champions League qualifying, have got 4 appearances and 1 assist. Now, personally, I think that this is precisely the sort of signing that we need to be making in terms of our long-term development. How about yourself, Duke?
Yeah, mate, listen, I came across this guy last year during lockdown.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, last year during lockdown, playing Football Manager. And it wasn't anything I'd heard of. I hadn't, this was before we were linked with him, and I used to sign him, wasn't there? I think he's 16 or 17 on the game I was playing. He turns out to be an absolute well beater, mate. Like, honestly, goals, records, and awards galore. And then when I saw us linked with him, I was like, yeah, bang it. So I'm not gonna bang on about the fact, a Football Manager, because I'm not Jack Sullivan. Because I'm pretty sure that's where he finds all his fucking signings from. But that being said, I have had a look at him. I have paid some attention to him. I have watched some of the Europa League games where he's been there, and I like the look of him, mate.
Mike No Neck Small.
Listen,
mind you, he had a period, didn't he, in that season in the top flight?
What about
I know we
games?
got relegated. He had about a 4 or 5 game spell where he couldn't stop scoring.
Hey, listen, got a lot of time for him. It just showed he headed the ball too much. He looked like Ram Man out of E-Man. It was like that, wasn't it? Who was a cricketer? It was a cricketer that was like that and all, wasn't there? Oh,
Gladstone Small.
Gladstone Small, that's his name. Oh, no,
I think that's the one.
No, I'd take Hlozek. I'll be honest with you. Something you mentioned to me earlier, mate.
Pete,
probably a little bit less, and probably will not do much less.
Oh dear.
You mentioned it before we went live, Rob.
Yeah.
And I don't know if have you got the name that was just mentioned there at the start of Luke's comment, Martial, Belotti, and Hlozek. Have you got anything on that?
What, on Martial?
Yeah.
No, but if you give me a moment, I'm sure I could find something.
Well, no, I was just going to say, because you mentioned it before we went live, didn't you? That the Lingard deal might include something with Anthony Martial.
Yeah, I think there's been talk that that's a potential route we might go down, because obviously he's not really got much of a future, it seems, at Old Trafford, as has not Lingard. Lingard's obviously coming to the end of his contract. I think Martial has a bit longer to go on his deal, but everybody knows we need a striker. I mean, even sort of like Blind Pew and Stevie Wonder can see that we need a striker, for Christ's sake. I think there's a deal there to be done myself, and I would take Martial in a heartbeat. I know people turn around and say, yeah, but he comes across as moody and this, that, and the other. Listen, I don't really care what his mood is. If he's banging goals in and putting performances and getting
right?
results for my team, I couldn't care less. He could wander around with a face like a slapped ass, but if he scores a hat trick, who cares?
See, so I've just seen Steve's comment there, where he says it came out that Martial and Lingard for 50.
Sharky, every club has debt. I mean, Spurs, they're £750 million in debt. So
Barca are big. I can't even afford. You know what I mean? The fact that Dani Alves went back there a pound
a month
a week,
or something, wasn't it? Or euro?
Yeah,
it was something ridiculous.
You're talking then, if you're looking at that, you're looking at Lingard for $1 million, for 10 mil, and that means that you're probably going to pay 40 for Martial. Now, no disrespect to Anthony Martial, but I don't think he's done enough to warrant a £40 million transfer fee. Now, if you wanted to work it, that it ends up at 40 million quid with goals, appearances, etc., add-ons, by all means. But it's got to be a deal that works for us more than in the short term than it does for United. I think £40 million is a lot of money. And would they get £40 million if they were to just go and flog him? Probably not in the grand scheme of things. So, but again, back to what you were saying, Gatesy, with regards to Hlozek. Hlozek fits our, I don't want to call it our Brentford model, but our Brentford model. Do you see what I mean?
We're trying to get in younger players. I think sort of like, I think that if David Moyes was to sort of like say to people what he would ideally like to get through the door, I think he'd like to get in a player that is young, hungry, with potential to improve, like a Jared Bowen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, sort of like, I don't think he would be averse to bringing in the odd experienced head like a Jesse Lingard, like a Craig Dawson. But I think that they would probably be signings that he would make here and there. But I think his default signing range would probably be around about 25, maybe a bit less, possibly a touch more if they were real supreme quality and that we could afford them. But I think somewhere around the 25 to and below age bracket is probably what David Moyes would be looking to bring through the door. And so a 19-year-old who's already got experience in Europe, he's played at the Euros. He ticks an awful lot of boxes, and he's got an awful lot of scope to improve, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we spoke about this. Moyes is really good at bringing out the best in people. For me, like we've seen that, and we all know, and we've been banging on about this for months, haven't we? And let's be honest, we spoke about this a couple of weeks. I think Thursday, Rob, we spoke about this when I said, Kent was on the stream when we said about the players that we needed. Kent turned around and said we needed 6 to 8 players. Yeah, exactly. I said because of Europe, I felt we were going to need between, 8 and 12 essentially. So we need players now. Everyone, his name's been mentioned a couple of times. Yeah, El Nesri.
Yeah.
Did we go in for him and he turned around and said no?
Which he did before.
Right, then bollocks.
Yeah. Quality player, but if he doesn't want to come.
Right. And he didn't want to come.
The old saying that George Graham had, never sign a player that thinks they're doing you a favour.
Yeah. And for me, El Nesri had the chance of becoming something we were trying to build. Now we're building it. Don't give him the opportunity to come in. He had that chance. And I know that might be a case of cutting off your nose to spite your face, in a way. But I just think, listen, you were given the chance of being part of something. We all know how I feel about Lingard. And I'm kind of softening my stance on that a little bit. That's where I'm
needs must.
But with El Nesri, what's the phrase? A foreign mercenary. That's how it comes across to me.
Or as Alan Sugar called him once upon a time, Carlos kick a ball.
Yes. These guys are coming in. Yeah, Trudge, you can say we weren't in Europe. Listen, we were aiming for Europe. If you remember last January, we were looking at going in to get him. Okay? We were looking.
He really wants Adebayo, doesn't he?
In January, right? So we were on the verge of something. We were going to be in Europe this season because of where we were when we in January in the Premier League. Okay, same as Tarkowski. We were in European positions ready to go into Europe. Mm-hmm. He only had to wait 6 months and he would have been playing European football regardless. And now we're there, he wants to come. That doesn't work for me. Same as Tarkowski. Tarkowski can go himself, pub-looking motherfucker. I'm not interested now.
No.
I'm not interested.
Go to Newcastle. Crack on with it.
Yeah, you know what? Go play in Newcastle in the Championship next season. Because I'm telling you now, I think they're going to find themselves too far adrift. Yes.
Definitely.
All over that. All over that, yes.
A lot of people sort of say about moving Bowen up top and putting Vlasic on the right in Bowen's place. But I'm like, listen, Bowen works on that right-hand side. Yeah. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But up top, that is broke. So let's try and change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very much a case of, you know what, we don't go begging.
Yep.
Don't go begging. We've asked, they've said no. Same as Lingard. And like I say, I am softening my stance on the whole Lingard thing. Because I'm listening to other people. I'm not being stubborn and not listening to other people's opinions. And I am softening my stance on that. But for your foreign mercenaries, and that's how I look at El Nesri, is he was given the chance and he said no. So that's it for me. Kate, what you said there about Adebayo, the centre-back, Lingard, Martial, very happy. Mate, I'd be buzzing off my tits if that was what we bought in. I'll tell you what, I would be, on the back of that, I'd be feeling like I just drank 20 cans of Red Bull and taken a case of Pro Plus, right?
Yeah.
That's how I'd feel.
He has played there before, Trudge. He has played as a number 9 before. And as I say, we've shelled out depending upon what figure you want to believe, it's anywhere between 19 and 30 million. And he's barely kicked a ball. So stick him up front. No,
that's not his fault.
But now people, I mean, I actually went round to my brother's this morning and we was talking about the same thing about what about Vlasic up top and drop Antonio to the bench. And my brother turned around and said that he didn't think that Vlasic has done enough. And I turned around and said, you do realise he created 3 chances in 17 minutes against Burnley? And he was like, no, I didn't. So I was like, there you go. You know, in 17 minutes, all right, we didn't score, but all you can do is create chances for forwards or score goals. And he created 3 chances in 17 minutes. And exactly that, Steve. He can't be any worse than Antonio at the minute. And I'm an Antonio fan. If anyone wants to come at me and say I'm attacking Michail Antonio, I'm not. I'm a Michail Antonio fan. He's our record Premier League goal scorer. How he's got there is irrelevant. And in what position he scored those goals is irrelevant. He is our all-time Premier League top goal scorer. Done. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But in the last half a dozen games or so, his performance levels has just fallen off a cliff. I don't know. Listen, it may well be because there's many times that we've looked at players. I think I remember Angelo Ogbonna's form dropping for a period of time, and it then latterly came out that he was actually playing. Wasn't it the season that we almost got relegated? And it came out that he was actually playing with an injury because he didn't want to drop out until we were safe, sort of thing. And once you then found out, you went, now that explains an awful lot of things. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Is it possible that Michail Antonio has an injury that we just don't know about? Not a big injury, obviously, like a hamstring tear. Clearly, he wouldn't be able to manage that. But maybe sort of like a slight niggle somewhere else. His back, his knees. Not enough to keep him out of the team, but enough to impact on his performances. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just getting a bit frustrated, mate, right now. You know, I think like the rest of us, we can see it in the chat and listen, something needs to happen, doesn't it? Something needs to happen, something needs to change. Now, I starred that one, Gatesy. Can you just go back to that one again for me? I starred that. From what I'm aware, Sharky, now, depending on the reason I've starred it is I just wanted to come back to it no matter how far we got, to be honest with you. I'm under the impression that we went to Lingard and said to him, if we come in for you, would you be interested in signing? Lingard turned around and went, no, I want to stay and fight for my place at United. Now,
fair enough.
It's not that he wasn't given the chance to sign. We asked him if he would sign. We didn't go to United. We didn't ask United outright. You know, I think this was a Moyes conversation that was, if we came in for you, would you be interested in signing? He turned around and said no. This was right at the end of the season. He turned around and said no, job done. And as far as I was concerned, at that point, you know what, we've given you the opportunity and you've kind of done the dirty on us, chat us a little bit. And you've gone. Again, I've softened my touch on this because I've listened to other people's comments and other people's opinions.
Yeah.
You're looking there. Steve's put about Noble playing with a triple hernia. You know, I remember when people were asked or fuming and get Ogbonna out of our club.
Yeah.
Right. 18 months, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Get Ogbonna out of our club. He's shit. Rather. All of a sudden, that season came and went. Last season started, and everyone's like, Ogbonna's the best we got. Oh my God! And then we get halfway through this season, and he ends up happening what's happened, and we're fucked. Everyone's like, oh my God, we're fucked.
Yeah, I'd say I don't know. I've got no inside information. I'm not in the know or anything like that. I'm just articulating a thought. Is there a possibility that Michail Antonio is playing with a minor level injury that's not enough to keep him out of the team, like a hamstring tear clearly would, but is enough to impact on his performance? Who knows?
You say that, do you mean he's keeping it to himself as well, or are you saying that the
No,
team...
no. That I don't think that he could keep it to himself. I think that the medical staff, I would like to think, are clued up enough to know and would be able to pick up on things like that.
Then if
but
that is
it's one of those where, you know, it's like, listen, we got no one else that we can play in a Premier
we do,
League
and
match.
no, we have, Rob, and you have Vlasic, you have Bowen, you have Ben Rama, you do have bodies that can go up there. We've got the kids. Listen, if he has an injury and the club know about this injury, then the club are doing Antonio a disservice, because that could end his career. Let's be perfectly honest with you. If something happens now, that ends his career. Okay, so they're not, you know, I can use this phrase because I've heard it enough over the last 7 weeks about protecting your staff. They're not protecting him.
Steady.
They're not you know, they're putting him in harm's way if he's injured, and they're allowing him to play. So if that is the case and they're allowing it to happen, then the club need to be brought to task over this. Now, if Antonio knows that he's got an injury, hasn't informed the club, never and hasn't informed Moyes, then Antonio needs to kick him, because he's now putting the risk of the club as well as his own career. I read that, the risk of his own career and the club's outlook on the line for that. And I think who was it? It was it Thomas Tuchel turned around and said the other week about someone not being openly honest with the injury that they'd picked up in the game and continued to try and play through it. Cost them. I think it might have even been Chelsea, Man United, and someone had picked up maybe Reece James, or I don't know who it was. Picked up an injury, tried to play through it, and cost them, you know, in his opinion, put the game at risk for him, and then end up drawing because he wouldn't openly admit to what the injury was. You know, so if that is the case, and you look at it both ways, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Eamon probably sort of sums it up for me. I think the guy's literally running on fumes. I think he's I've always wondered if Antonio has. Yeah. That's. Do you know what else is something that can affect you, and you'd never think it in a million years? Teeth.
Winston Reid. Yeah.
Your teeth apparently can affect things that you know, certain muscles. I remember here, I don't know if it was Winston Reid or whoever it was.
Winston Reid. He was having some severe issues with his lower back.
Yeah.
And they couldn't pinpoint what it was. I think I think it was when he was out on loan. Was it Seattle?
Oh Christ! Where did he go on loan? He went on loan to the MLS. Yeah, I can't remember where it was.
And they were the ones that put the jigsaw pieces together. They were the ones that put the jigsaw pieces together. That he was having some severe. I think it was wisdom teeth or the molars at the back. He was having some severe problems with, and they put two and two together. That all affected down the back of his spine and to his lower back.
Crazy, isn't it? You'd never think.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I think it was actually many years before that, there was someone else that was having an awful lot of injuries with this, that, and the other, and that when they actually got to the bottom of it, they actually found it was something to do with their choppers. Crazy, absolutely. Yeah. Well, then you're all right, Steve. You're not going to get hamstring and back injuries. If you got no teeth, you're fine. So the worst thing you got to worry about is losing your dentures. That's probably about it.
Maybe dressing up as a snowman and crashing your fucking Lamborghini at Christmas ago didn't do any fucking favours, did it?
Yeah, that doesn't help. Should we get on to the next one? Okay, next story I wanted to talk about, and this was from Hammers News, no less. So, this story, reports claim David Moyes wants to bring in the best defender in Holland to West Ham, and he's nicknamed the Gladiator. I don't know if this is Russell Crowe, though, Duke. I don't think his name's Russell Crowe. No, it's definitely not. It's
Australian, isn't he? New Zealand. Australian?
What, Russell Crowe?
New Zealand. Yeah.
He's a New Zealander.
There you go. I knew it was one of them countries that speak with the accent.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of this chap. He plays for Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. And he's an Argentinian international, and his name is Marcos Senesi. I hope I've pronounced it correctly, but there he is there, ladies and gentlemen. And they claim that it says here he is officially the best defender in the Eredivisie. It's not a claim. This article says he is officially the best defender. So it must be that there's stats on it, and they've put it all together, and they've basically said he is the main man as far as that particular league is concerned. Now, I'll tell you what, let me get rid of that, and I'll go on a transfer market, and I'll show this to you good people if you're looking and thinking, well, we've never heard of this geezer, Gatesy. Give us a little bit more. Okay, well, here we go. Tell you what, let me get rid of that banner because it will get in your way, guys, and I don't want to do that. So, he's 24 years of age, 1.85 meters tall. Don't ask me. I do feet and inches. I don't know what meters is.
You don't do feet.
His contract runs until the summer of 2023. So basically, he's got 18 months left on his deal at Feyenoord. He's a centre-back, 24 years of age, rated at 16.2 million, according to Transfer Market. How much you put in, in that particular assessment is up to you. Here are his Eredivisie appearances: 15 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 yellow cards. In the Europa Conference League, 5 appearances, and that's no goals, no assists, no yellow cards. He's played in the KNV Becker, 1 appearance. And then in UEFA qualifying, he had 5 appearances and 1 assist. He's a centre-back. That's it. He's not one of these players that's centre-back, but he can play defensive mid, full-back, whatever. He's a centre-back. Does exactly what he says on the tin. He's a left footer, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that was the thing that really interested me, because left-footed centre-backs are something of a premium, because we know. And as soon as we lost Ogbonna, it was like, well, this geezer's a left footer. And I look at that and I think, do you know what? This is a rumor. This is a story that I could actually get behind, because it's a position that we need to strengthen. He's the side that we need to strengthen, specifically left-sided centre-back. And he's 24 years of age with only 18 months left on his current deal. Now, what do you say about this? And as I say, he is officially, according to this article, the best defender in the Eredivisie.
Don't care.
Now, I know the reason why Duke is saying he doesn't care. He doesn't want the best defender in the Eredivisie.
He's an Argentinian defender. I don't like Argentinian defenders, Rob.
Why is that?
They upset me. Well, one of them did. And it just, Argentinian defender brings back flashbacks of 2006. And I just can't be dealing with Argentinian defenders.
Let it go.
They don't know when to duck.
You listen.
Duck! All he had to do was duck!
You think you've got it bad? I was there!
Flashbacks. I can't do it. I
was there.
Fucking Argentinian defenders, bastards.
But he's the best rated defender. I mean, don't forget, this is a league that Virgil van Dijk came out of. So for this guy to be rated as the best currently, you got to take notice of that.
No, it upsets me. I just can't.
Oh, come on.
George just said Zabaleta was all right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, Ken. It's Gaviscon. It's anti-heartburn medicine, because I'm getting a bit of acid reflux when I'm coughing so much. So that's what it is. Listen, I'm not saying that Zabaleta wasn't any good. I just don't like Argentinian defenders, because Scaloni has ruined them for me. That's it.
Did you have a downer on Zabaleta, or because he was seasoned at Manchester City for all those years, did you sort of give him a little bit of a, oh no, he's all right?
A little bit of a break, but I still didn't like the fact he was an Argentinian defender. I just had to, yeah. But I don't know, it just upsets me, Rob. That's all it is.
Well, the thing is,
flashbacks.
Well, like I say, I just look at that. I mean, have I seen this guy play? No, can't lie to you. I'm actually going to see him. Well, I'm planning to see him actually, aren't we? Tomorrow, aren't we, guys?
Tomorrow, yes.
Yes, because Feyenoord have a home match against Ajax. And who do they have playing up front for Ajax?
The best striker in Europe at the minute.
Yeah, the best striker in Europe, who once upon a time wore claret and blue until about, just under a year ago. But there you go. I hope you're wrong, Pete. I seriously hope you're wrong. We need to. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, Daniel Passarella was all right. You know, World Cup winning captain and all that. Are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, I'd be all over that. I would be all over that. Like I say, again, he's the right age profile. He's a position that we need to strengthen. And as I say, I know a lot of people say centre-backs are centre-backs. So whether you play left or whether you play right shouldn't make any difference. It does. Trust me, it does make an awful lot of difference to a centre-back. He's left-footed. As I say, left-footed centre-backs are not... They're not in plentiful supply. That's generally why when you are a left-sided centre-back, you probably go for a couple of million more than a right-footed centre-back, because it's supply and demand at the end of the day. As I say, I think this is a potentially a very good signing. Have I seen him play? No, I'm going to see him play tomorrow in the match against Ajax, and I'm going to run the rule over him, you and me. And we're gonna see what he's all about. But I think this is just a story that may have an element of truth over it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're also, I think we both had a discussion, didn't we? Which I had a look on. There's a game tonight that interests me as a player that I would like us to have a look at. Obviously, in Ginter, he's playing tonight, Hertha Berlin versus Dortmund. I'm kind of going to have one TV with the Leeds Arsenal game. I'm going to have the other one with the Hertha game. Listen, all joking aside, as I think Steve turned around and said, there you go. Don't care if he comes from Botswana or the Cayman Islands. If he can improve our defence, then so be it. And he is a left-footed player. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, if he can play out there. That being said, someone mentioned earlier in the chat, and I didn't star it to come back to, which annoyed me a little bit. I would like Nathan Ake. You know, I've been looking a little bit more into that. And I'm on my way, Ken. And I'm having a look at the fact that Ake can play both left back and left-sided centre back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that maybe that can work for us. Listen, you. Oh, here we go. What's this? Oh, do you mind if I read this out, Ken? Is this
breaking news, Ken?
Couple of hours old, mate. I'll wait for well, it's
just give us the thumb. If you don't give us the thumbs up, Ken, if you're all right with Duke sharing it.
I'll tell you what, it could be interesting, Gatesy, for us going forward, dependent on obviously, for me as well.
I'm just going to come back to Trodge's. I'm just going to come back to Trodge's comments here, if I may. Yes, I agree with that. The only problem is, if you're the best defender in Serie A, you are going to be significantly more of a transfer fee that you're going to command if you played for an Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, than you would be in the Eredivisie playing for Feyenoord, Ajax, PSV Eindhoven, the team like that. So I know what you're saying, but with the budget that we've got, we're not going to get the best defender in Serie A. We're just not. I'd like to say anything other than that. He says it's all good, so crack on.
So all Premier League matches to be shown live on TV again. if fans are shut out of the stadium with
Shut
BBC.
out.
Yeah, shut out. We're going to be shut out of luck, aren't we? If fans are shut out of the stadium with BBC and Amazon Prime keen. So all Premier League football matches will be shown live on TV if they're forced to play games behind closed doors again in the new year. Plans are already in place. Should fans be stopped from attending games, according to the Daily Mail, Sky and BT Sport would broadcast a live majority of the games, with BBC and Amazon Prime also could be handed some matches, but it would see the return of staggered kickoff times. Listen, I'm all over that. You know, and I know they're already talking about a 2-week circuit breaker, aren't they, for hospitality as well.
Yeah.
And something that's just come through on my Sky app that's just come through.
Is she related to Del Boy? Eleonora Trotter.
Sadiq Khan, regardless of your personal feelings of the guy, regardless of your political, your political sway, if you will, I don't care. I'm not a big fan of politics. I'm not a big fan of either of the three that state that they're here for us. What I will say is he has now declared a major incident in London over the huge surge of Omicron cases. So you look at that, and obviously we do support a London club. That could be a big part of a situation for us. So who knows?
Great. What can you do?
Hey, if it sees the return of the games on telly, bring it on.
Yeah, I did put on the description, and those of you that are watching and paid attention, I did put Feyenoord pair linked on the description, didn't I?
You did.
There's another one.
You got another one. All right.
Okay. Oh no, I listen. Never let it be said I'm not prepared. Never let it be said that I am not prepared. This story comes from Football Fancast. West Ham can finally replace Jesse Lingard with move for Guus Til. Yes, it's. I know it's a G, ladies and gentlemen, but in Holland it's pronounced as a H. Rude Hullet and all that. West Ham United could finally replace Jesse Lingard after being linked with a move for Feyenoord attacking midfielder Guus Til ahead of the January transfer window. It goes on to say that a number of teams are linked with him: Everton, Wolves, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Brentford, and Watford. So he's playing at Feyenoord at the minute, although he's actually a player from Spartak Moscow. He, as I say, he's a Dutch player. He's got 4 caps for the national team. He went to Spartak Moscow in July 2021. Hasn't worked out for him there, and he's then gone on loan to Feyenoord.
To where?
Feyenoord. Actually, no, sorry. He went there in September 2020.
Yeah, so who, sorry?
Feyenoord.
Really? Feyenoord? Not Feyenoord? No?
Feyenoord. You say potato, I say potato. Let's call the whole thing off.
All right, bye.
Oh, dear. But no.
Listen,
again,
I'm a wind-up merchant. I've got to get me rocks off where I can at the minute. I'm not feeling great.
But no, he fits the age profile. 23 years of age, international player, played in European competitions. Just looking at his stats for Feyenoord this season in the Eredivisie: 16 appearances, 9 goals, 2 assists. That is very. And I know what people are going to say. It's not a great league, but he can only score against the teams that he's put in front of. Decent stats. What say you, Duke?
Again, depends on cost, mate, doesn't it?
Well, he's got, as far as his contract at Spartak Moscow is concerned, June 30th, 2024 is when that runs out. So, as I say, with the last guy, Marcos Senesi, he's got 18 months on his deal, whereas this guy, Guus Til, has got another, 2 years, basically? 2.5 years?
a nice little touch by the club, if I may, on their YouTube channel, on the club's YouTube channel. It's showing the Norwich West Ham game from 1920 season on their YouTube channel right now.
You mean 2019-20 or
no, 1920.
literally 1920?
No, the year in
black and white.
2019, 2021. Don't be facetious, Brett.
I thought I just had images of sort of like black and white and the White Horse and people with rattles.
There is something wrong with you. Why?
What?
It might be 1920. I might be having COVID hallucinations. You don't know, do you?
I just had visions. You said 1920, and I'm thinking we're gonna be, it's everybody with flat caps and.
You know what? I can't talk to you when you're like this, Robert.
Look. That's the reason. That's the reason.
What's if I may just quickly jump onto another webpage and go.
Now that's there's no need for that, Luke. There's no need for that. Like I'd remember it. Actually, I'll tell you what. We probably didn't even. I'll tell you what. I'm actually going to check it out. Whilst I've been asked a question, I'm going to find out. Did West Ham United play Norwich City in that year? Right.
Trying to find. There's nothing available. That's a shame. Not that I'd look for availability. But there is a West Ham connection in a game today.
Yeah.
Hungerford versus Weymouth. For those of you who know. So it's Stephen Bowen, Gacy? Old Bose.
Stephen Bowen.
Yeah.
Go on.
He's his brother. There's going to be some people in the chat that know who.
Not Steve brother of Jared.
No, genius. His brother is actually a coach at Hungerford Town, and he's Stephen Bowen put on his Facebook a few hours ago. If you thought I was football mad, you haven't met my brother. Can he win another FA trophy? Hungerford is a coach at Hungerford Town. They've got their third round kickoff. And I said I would keep an eye on the score for him, or keep an eye on the score, obviously being a West Ham connection today. Hungerford versus Weymouth after 23 minutes is 0-0. You probably know who Bose is, Casey. Hang on.
In answer to Luke's question, we never actually played Norwich in 1920. We played them in 1915. 24th of April 1915, 1-1 draw in the Southern League First Division. We didn't play them again until the 6th of October 1934. We won that match. That was at Carrow Road. We won that 2-1 in League Division 2. Just for your information.
Oh! His brothers are
got it.
A coach at Hungerford. So yeah, he's he actually made an appearance on the TalkSport website there when Simon Jordan was talking about West Ham opening themselves up to ridicule because we think we're fucking massive.
Oh yeah, he clearly doesn't understand irony and sarcasm.
He is indeed, Kent. He is indeed. I love watching his stuff when he posts them. Gatesy, so you're saying here, how much was this fella? You just scrolled back off of his
Well, according to Transfer Market, 4.5 million.
You can double that because it's Transfer Market.
Yeah, but even 9 million, that's nothing.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. Even 9 million at 23 years old, would you take him over Lingard? I know Lingard is proven.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Lingard's proven, this guy wouldn't be. However, this guy's obviously 5 years younger.
Yeah.
And so with all due respect to Jesse Lingard, from here on in, you would think that the only way is down. And it may be that down might not happen for another season or two, and that we get him operating at a similar level for this season and next season before maybe it starts to taper off. However, with this guy, he's going to improve, surely.
Yeah,
So
this is my point. This is my point on it. 20. Well, I'm thinking 28, isn't he? Right.
28, 29.
29.
I think he's now 29. I think.
Let's say 29, right? 23 probably has between 7 and 10 years at the top. Yeah. For 9 million. And like Steve 50 says there, you're going to probably get maybe 2.5 years, 3 years out of Lingard for the same sort of money. It depends on what Til's top's going to be compared to what Lingard's top will be for 3. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Til for me fits our. He fits our pattern, doesn't he? Age-wise, he's not overly expensive. So
bit versatile as well. If you look there, you can see he's got a couple of different positions he can fulfill.
Which right now we need one of them.
Can play centre forward. Yeah. He's attacking midfielder by default, but he can play central mid or centre forward. Now that.
So then, with that in mind, then let me ask you and the guys in the chat. With that in mind, then. And we've already seen, I think Trudge brought it up in the chat significantly earlier about Lingard. Would it be a mistake? I think you said it'd be a mistake for Lingard to go to Newcastle. I think was what Trudge said, or something along them lines. Someone said it. Now, if you had a choice, and as Trudge has just said there, he's not played many games over his career because
that is true.
We've about this before.
For someone of his age.
Yeah. So there you go. Kent's already answered my question essentially.
Yeah.
You've got to pick 10 million. You've got 10 million to spend. Where do you spend it? Do you spend it on this Til, or do you spend it on Lingard? Kent's already gone with his, and that's fine. And I respect that because I understand where he's coming from. Okay. But everyone else in the chat, and for you as well, Gatesy, where would your money go? You got 10 million. Are you dropping it on Lingard?
I think I would, on balance. I think I would, because on Lingard, I mean, with Guus Til, I think you're
punting into the unknown, aren't you?
It's a punt, and can we afford to do that in the situation we're in right now? I'm not so sure we can, because we were 2 points from getting Champions League last season. We were 4th before the game against Arsenal. We're 5th, I believe, now. We were possibly a couple of signings away from making a real push at that top 4. That 4th place is up for grabs. Top 3 are sewn up. Whichever order they're in, it will be Liverpool, it will be Man City, it will be Chelsea. Don't know which order, but it will be those 3 in the top 3 places. Done. Forget that. 4th place. I don't know who's going to finish 4th. Could be us, could be Leicester, could be Manchester United, could be Tottenham, could be Arsenal, could be Wolves, could be Villa. Villa have come up on the rails since Gerrard's wandered in there. Could we afford to take a chance on? It's a bit. We've already had a punt we had a punt last season with well, not a punt, but a gamble, if you will, with Benrahma. Benrahma was a gamble, and it took him a season to settle. I think this season's gamble is Vlasic, and I think that this will be his season to bed in and acclimatise. I don't think we could do it again in the same season with Guus Til. Lingard is not a gamble. It really isn't. He's tried and tested and proven, not just in the Premier League, but at West Ham United, and a West Ham United that was gunning for European competitions. It's exactly the same situation. Yes, he's 12 months older, but it's not like this is Jesse Lingard, who's in the interim had an injury. Yes, you could turn around and say, but he's been sitting on his arse for most of it. Maybe he's got a little bit rusty, cobwebs, whatever. But yeah, I would be going Lingard all, and I think pretty much everybody in the
I'm reading them as they're coming through, and everyone's making a very good point. And I'm not saying I've been swayed either way. You know, I think Lingard coming in January needs to be done in that first
Yeah.
week, as far as concerned.
I think Guus Til would be a good signing in the summer. Maybe he could be our gamble next season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think we could do
that being
two
said,
gambles in the same season.
Do we need to take a gamble on an attacking midfield player?
What, in Lingard?
No, in Guus Til next year. When you consider that by that point in the summer, you will have hopefully a striker. Okay,
Yep.
so hopefully we're going to look at bringing, for all intents and purposes, let's say we bring in Martial or Hlozek, right? So you got one of two there. Okay, Martial or Hlozek. You got Bowen, you got Lanzini, Fornals, Benrahma, Vlasic. All of a sudden, Antonio. All of a sudden, you've got 7 players there vying for essentially 4 spots. Okay, at the moment we've got 5 players essentially vying for 4 spots because you've only got Vlasic generally. No, what you got? You got Antonio, Hlozek or Martial. You've got Bowen, Benrahma, Vlasic, Fornals, Lanzini. So then are we going to need to bring in another kind of attacking midfielder type player? If we move someone on, if we decide that next season we don't need Vlasic and it's not worked, or we let him go, or Benrahma and we let him go, or Liverpool come in for Bowen and we let him go, wherever it works, then yes, you need to replace an outgoing player for, essentially like for like. Noble's going to be out of contract. He's done at the end of the season, so he's not even part of the equation for me right now. Right now, there,
you say that. Now I'm going to just hold that thought, because I'm going to throw something at you. I'm going to throw something at you. I'm going to play a little. Bear with me. Now, Mark Noble was supposed to retire at the end of last season, wasn't he?
Oh, here we go. I know where you're going with this. I know what you're going to say.
He didn't. He signed an extension
Yeah.
because obviously there was nobody in the stadium. Now,
Yeah.
who's to say exactly the same thing's not going to happen at the end of this season? Where do we go from there?
Listen, I don't mean to be disrespectful to Mr. West Ham. No, it's done at the end of this season. I don't think. Listen, I've seen him come in games, and
that would be a real kick in the bollocks for him, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would massively. Listen, don't get me wrong, huge. But at the end of the day, I just don't think that Nobes has got another year in him of even bit part, Rob. To be honest with you, no disrespect to him, and I love Noble to pieces. I've got all the time in the world for that man.
Yeah.
He is, and let's be fair. He should have been in England international. When you look, was it 16, 17 or 15, 16? Someone tagged it on Facebook on.
Yeah, the stats.
Yeah, of him, Henderson.
Yep.
It was embarrassing. He should have played for England. There's no 2 ways about it. But I just don't think if we end up in another lockdown and players don't play in front of crowds, I just don't think it's going to be possible for him to be able to go again next season. I think he might sign a contract to be kept on, maybe as a player coach, and then he can register if need be. Yes, please. Oh, and Yarmolenko. I forgot about Yarmolenko being on that list. But now that being said, Yarma's gone at the end of the season. There's no 2 ways about that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna, unless something miraculous happens and he now steps in for Noble, scores 20 goals between now and the end of the season, and justifies his £485 million a season salary. I don't see how he could stay. Rob, I'm going to have to jump off for 30 seconds off camera and mic because my battery's decided to tell me it's low because I forgot to bring the charger in. So you do you.
Oh dear. Well, never mind. I literally just a thought that popped into my head because I was like, he was supposed to retire last season. He signed a contract extension. I think we all know that it was largely because he didn't want to retire and not be able to say goodbye to the fans, just as much as I think that the fans wanted to say goodbye to Mark Noble for all his years of service. But the way things have gone in this last couple of weeks, listen, do what you want. I can't control what you guys put in the live chat. I really can't. But yeah, I just sort of thought, well, we're going possibly. It looks like we're going back into possibly some sort of lockdown, whether it's a 2-week circuit breaker or whether it goes further than that, who knows. I just sort of look and go, well, what if the nightmare scenario does unfold where we're back to the situation again of playing behind closed doors and we get to the end of the season and Mark Noble is retiring in front of an empty stadium? Well, is he going to do it again? Is he going to sign? Is it, here's another 12-month contract, Mark, and you'll get another opportunity. At what point do you draw the line and say, no, sorry. Listen, Mark Noble has done brilliantly for West Ham, and he can still do a job. I don't agree that he couldn't do a job from the bench, but that's it. He's not a starter anymore. He's nowhere near a starter. If Declan Rice, Thomas Souček, Manuel Lanzini are all fit, they're ahead of him in the pecking order. Alex Kral, even. Who was it? Let me just wind back a little bit. Who was it? Stephen, you put about Kral. I don't think he's looked lightweight. I got to be honest, because I haven't seen enough of him. I thought he played well against Manchester United in the League Cup. There was a game. Who did we play? I think it might have been the Dinamo Zagreb game. I'm fairly sure he started that game, and I thought he started well, and then tapered off towards the end. But you've got to remember that he did have time off with COVID primarily. And furthermore, he's not been playing regular first team football. So the fact that his stamina levels possibly weren't where a Premier League footballer should have been is probably completely normal. Understandable, acceptable. Whichever adjective you want to put in there. But I think with Kral, it's difficult. But then again, we was in this position with Craig Dawson, because Craig Dawson, don't forget, came in on an initial loan from West Brom, or no, it was Watford, wasn't it? Came in on loan, didn't basically play for the first half of the season, and we're all sitting here and thinking, well, that was a crap loan signing, Moisey. What was the point of that? He then got his opportunity and he was off and running. Now, I do wonder with Kral whether he's going to get an opportunity. He needs that opportunity. And don't forget, he can play centre-back. So it may well be that he gets an opportunity possibly at centre-back. Who knows? But I
won't be on that one.
Yeah, well, I've actually, when I've seen Kral, I thought that he's done all right. Nothing special, but I thought he's done the job that he's been there to do. And that's all you can ask. He's not going to be a Frank Lampard Jr. Sorry to swear, guys, but he's not sort of going to score lots of goals. He's more a defensive-minded midfielder. He's not on the level of Declan Rice, but very few players are, in my opinion. Well recovered. Have you got any more stories, Duke? Because you were sort of like having a little look around as well.
I've got 4.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Actually, are you going to share them?
I might have 5, actually, Rob. Hang on.
Go on, then.
No, I've got 4.
Okay. I'm going to let you do the sharing this time.
I'm kind of going to go in the order. Let me bring it all down onto the bottom screen then.
And guys, we've got 20 of you in. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, please. It really does help us out. I know it seems a silly thing, but it does help the old YouTube algorithms and gets us to places that possibly we otherwise wouldn't. God help them. So please, it's just a really simple thing. Just click the thumbs up. Thank you very much.
The 8-year-old YouTuber that I sent you the link to earlier, Gacy.
I thought you was winding me up.
Review. No.
Go on, tell everyone.
The kid sits on camera and plays with toys given to him. This is how he started. He started playing with toys that were given to him. From Mattel and all the rest of it. And kids would sit there and watch him unbox these toys and play with them on camera. Okay, so one of them being Disney's The Lion Guard playset, which is a spin-off of The Lion King, obviously.
Really? I never would have known.
Right? It's Simba's son. I don't know.
Okay.
So I caught my son watching this a few years ago.
I suppose it could have been worse. It could have been Debbie Does Dallas or something like
that. I've caught my son watching twerking videos on YouTube, which makes me laugh.
I caught my son doing much worse than that, but I'll talk to you about that later.
My boy. So I caught him watching this Ryan's tour review on YouTube once. Kid playing with this Lion Guard, this toy. Watching the kid play with it online. On the floor, in front of the TV, or just to the side of the TV with my son's toys, is the fucking Lion Guard playset, Rob. He's watching some kid on telly play with the toy that he's got down there.
Like he needed help?
Now, this kid earns between 8 and 12 million pounds a year through YouTube.
We might get there.
He's got 1.2 million followers.
Well, we're catching him up, aren't we? Ish. When did this start? When did he?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look. See, Luke must be a subscriber. Must be a subscriber. It's sick, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. We need to start playing with toys. Well, there's certain things I play with, but that's another story.
Stop it. Behave yourself. Yeah, it's madness. Like you can't make it up. I think he's the top earning YouTube what they call like an influencer, if you will.
Yeah.
In fact, if you give me
you and me both, Stephen.
Few moments, there you go. So we have this. We have this. I think this wasn't it? This was it. So we're gonna.
Oh, hello.
Move that down now. Put it up there with that one, like so. I'm gonna scroll up slightly. Everything is currently running very slowly because I'm trying to do too much. So this is a news report that doesn't tell me when it came out, which is amazing.
Oh my God! You seen this?
Yeah. That's actually gone up. As far as I'm aware, his net worth is now 112 million.
That is insane. Absolutely insane.
Hang on a minute. I'm being collared.
Uh-oh. Now, who's your money on? Is it the missus? Is it his kids? What did we reckon, guys?
It was the daughter.
There you go. Did it involve money?
No, asking if I'd unset the alarm. But yeah, he's 10 years old, and you know,
mental.
It makes me sick. What was the other one that he watches? Which is there you go. It's their value.
48.7 billion YouTube views. I think we're coming up to 95,000.
Hey, listen, don't mind that shit. Behave yourself. So there's another one. There's a family of YouTubers. They're called the Family Gaming Team, or FGTV is what they call themselves. Okay. And they are it's a dad, mum, and I think it's 3 kids. No, it's 4 kids actually. And they film themselves when they go off on holidays and stuff with GoPros and all the rest of it. They edit their pictures. Their channel is worth, according to this, about £30 million. And all they do, okay, is they sit and stream games that they play. They literally play Fortnite. They play all of these kind of games that they play together as families. They have 7.98 million. Oh no, 19 million subscribers on the channel.
Yeah, they're a little bit ahead of us then.
Okay, you ready for this, Gatesy?
Oh, go on. What are you going to do to me?
The content of this channel includes gaming, comedy, toy unboxing, fun activities, etc. These channels have subscribers in the millions with a lot of views. The FGTV channel generates in revenue around $18,000 per day.
So they're not hard up. Christ. That is, yeah. Do you know what? I'm thinking the same thing, Trudge. Stuff talking about football. Let's get sort of like, I don't know, what do you reckon? Transformers, Action Man? What we going for?
£18,000 per day. Like
that is true.
I
Vic Watson, 326 goals.
Yeah. Listen, I won't say it upsets me. I just like good luck to them. If that's
good luck
how
to them, yeah.
You know what? I take nothing away from them for that, but mine, like these are just like they're just kids opening fucking boxes of toys on telly, Rob. That's essentially what it is. Like when we were kids, we were the ones playing with the toys, not the ones sitting in front of a TV watching someone else play with the toys, and he's got his own toy line now. That Ryan, the first one, he has his own toy line.
What?
Yeah. He has his own toys, little plastic models of himself on buses and shit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but no one sees you, Steve. You've always got your camera off.
Anyway,
right, come on. You got 4 stories. Come on. Bring them to me.
My earbud ran out of battery, so I had to put my headset on. That's great. So anyway, right. Boom, back to this. So
we're back on transfer talk.
First one that we were linked with on my story anyway that came out, I want to say Monday or Tuesday this week.
Okay.
Yeah, you know why, don't you? There are... So just before I go on to what I was going to do there, Gatesy, there was a band that released a silent album. A silent
album.
13 songs, 3 minutes long. Every single song was silent. There was nothing on it. It was just... That was it, right? They put it on Spotify and told all of their followers, their fans, to listen to this album, put the album on play, on their phones, on any of their devices, on repeat overnight. And they earn millions out of it. Millions.
Wow.
Because then I think, don't get me wrong, I think they had to give some of it back, but they earned millions out of it, which then helped them progress their career. This was, 5 or 6 years ago now. But
literally just doing nothing.
Silence, yeah. But then you could make an album and just ask your people to play it whilst the volume is off on your phone, on your device, and then just, at least it's an album then. And if you just listen, like you could listen to it over and over again on repeat with nothing on, and you will earn money out of it.
Do you know what? That's almost as stupid as a story I heard many years ago, obviously in the trade that I'm in. And if anyone watching doesn't know, I'm work in the white goods industry, so I do washing machines, dishwashers, tumble dryers, all that. And I heard a story about someone that was selling on eBay for about 20 pence a go bags of tumble dryer fluff. You know, you got the filter in Dawn, you get the lint. They were selling it. And I was like, why would you sell for 20 pence bags of tumble dryer fluff? And then I thought, hang on, that's the wrong question. Why would anybody buy it?
There's got to be something behind that.
That is crazy. Crazy. Why would you buy a bag of tumble dryer fluff? But then there was someone once that took a paper clip and swapped it for something else, and they went and they ended up getting a sort of like 16-bedroom mansion or something stupid like that, didn't they? From paper
trading up.
Yeah.
I've seen it. There's lots of people that do that shit.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that, Luke. I think that's brilliant. Right. Anyway,
come on, stories.
So this gentleman, Valentin Castellanos.
That's easy for you to say.
Nope. Allegedly, this guy is obviously he's part of the City, the Manchester City setup, isn't he? Because he's at New York City, which is obviously a offshoot of Manchester City, along with I think is it Adelaide City or Melbourne City or someone over in Australia. West Ham are tracking New York City FC rising star Valentin Castellanos, who has scored 9 goals in his last 7 games, with Pep Guardiola believing the Argentine ace is a quality player that is destined to move to Europe. Now,
He's got to go to City, isn't he?
Well, so I saw this, Rob, okay, and my brain went straight to...
Where was this story on, by the way?
That was on, I think, the Daily Mail.
Okay.
I've just read that from. Now, my brain went straight away to Championship football. My brain went straight away to Scottish football. No disrespect to any Scots that are watching. My mind went straight to these, Josie Altidore being another one, Kobe Jones being another one. I
remember him,
Alexi Lalas, I think, is the only product of the MLS, shall I say, in my opinion, that I can really think of that really made a name for themselves when they came across to Europe. And by that, I mean...
He played in Serie A, didn't he?
He played for Lazio.
Did he?
Lalas. Yeah, he did, yeah. He had the fantastic ginger hair and he looked like Cat Weasel. It's the only one I've got for you.
Yeah.
He literally was.
He was in a rock band, wasn't he?
He was. Now, I can't help but think that 7 goals in 9 games or 9 goals in 7 games, whichever way that report put it, go away. Thank you. It doesn't fill me with confidence because I feel, Gatesy, that even at 43, I could go, even with COVID, I could go to Australia, go to America, play in the MLS, and do a job. There was a guy that was destined to be the greatest player the world had ever seen, if you believe those who play Football Manager, by the name of Freddie Adu.
Oh, yes.
That came, and you know what? On Football Manager 20 years ago, he was bloody outstanding. I loved the kid. I signed him everywhere I went. It's always West Ham, but I signed him all the time.
He's early mid-30s now, isn't he?
He was 16 back then, yeah. So I think he's probably mid-30s.
I'm going to Google him while you're talking.
Well, the last I heard, he was playing in Portugal. So this guy, I take a lot of these with a pinch of salt. Is he 32? Okay, so
Jesus, he's had more clubs than Tiger Woods.
I know. Oh, I know.
In fact, I think he's without a club at the minute, so he might have retired.
Yeah, that's even Steve says at 57 he could go to America and watch the MLS. You could probably still get a game out there, mate. Now, I just don't see this one happening, and I'll tell you why. It's America. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be, this is where the top European stars go to finish their careers. It's not, well, I say that. Who was it Giovanni Dos Santos went out there and made an absolute, Sebastian Giovinco went out there mid-20s and made an absolute, stormer of it.
Yeah.
Doing really well. I think it was Sebastian Giovinco, striker, midfield attacker, one of them. Carlos Vela went out there towards the end of his career. We all know about Robbie Keane, David Beckham, all the rest of them.
Zlatan went out there and came back, didn't he?
Yeah, I know, but Zlatan is a rule unto himself, and it's quite simple. I don't see any kind of purchase on this one. I just see the fact that he's a striker that scored a few goals. his name has all of a sudden been existentially linked to West Ham for whatever fucking reason, like a lot of them are at this time of year, this point in a football season where the transfer window's about to open, be it close season, be it now. We know, everyone and a grandma knows that we need a striker, and that's we're being linked with anything that can put the ball in the back of the net at the minute. So I don't see this one. I see this one as a non-starter. He's just under 6 foot. He can play anywhere across the front, the front line. So we have about £6.5 million. And if you look, he only joined New York City in January of 19, so 2 years ago, from, I'm guessing this is a Uruguayan club. Oh, no, he went on loan to the Uruguayan club. He actually joined New York from that club, £360,000.
Yeah.
Because he was signed on loan, and then he made the move permanently. 360 grand 2 years ago. They paid 383,000 for him, and now you're telling me he's worth 6.5 million. Nah, Mike. You're telling me he's that might be over.
It's not
there.
like he's gone to La Liga and scored 9.
Yeah, there it is. So according to this, you can see just here that probability of a transfer is 63%, and it's dropped from whenever it possibly was. So I don't put too much into that. He's a right footer. Again, we've already got the attacking kind of midfield sort of players. It's not one I want to take a punt on. I'll take a punt on what Kent keeps talking about, and Adebayo from Luton Town. If we're going to,
Callum Styles is another one that he's a big advocate of. Finally, I watched him last night against West Brom.
Yeah. So if we're going to take the £6.5 million punt, I'd rather it be on someone out of the Championship than someone out of the MLS.
Well, I think that the MLS, to be honest with you, I think the average player coming out of the MLS is probably about League One standard, if I'm being honest.
Top of League One, bottom of the Championship. They're yo-yo.
Yeah.
Listen, Trudge, they can offer that all they want. The problem is Vlahovic going to want to play in the Championship next season?
Well, they need to sort of like get out of the shit they're in. They basically need to hit Championship winning form, don't they, from here on in?
Yes, and I just don't see it happening. I just, they're gonna if they've offered £100 million for him, they're gonna have to spend at least £600 or £700 million on players, because that Newcastle side right now is not good enough to stay up.
Well, he's going to score the goals at one end. That's fine, but they're not going to stop. He's not going to stop them conceding it at the other. You need to get your defence sorted out.
I watched them against. Who did I watch them against the other night? Went 1-0 up, Liverpool, and Sam Maximan. He had a chance of putting them 2-1 up. Hit it straight at the keeper, a bit like Fornals did against Liverpool, but he saved this one. Newcastle are going to struggle to entice anyone in January, for the simple fact is that there's a distinct possibility they're going down this season regardless of what they do, and that's no disrespect to Eddie Howe, but I think Eddie Howe has been brought in for a Championship run next season. But I think even Newcastle ownership are kind of like, we might be fucked,
Yeah, I think they've got in a manager that knows the terrain of the Premier League, but if the worst came to the worst, he's also a manager that knows the terrain of the Championship. So I think they've covered both bases with him, really. I mean, if they'd have got in a manager that had only had Premier League experience and they still went down, it's like, well, I'm sorry, but it's a completely different animal trying to get promoted from the Championship.
I'll tell you what, it's harder, in my opinion, Gatesy. It's harder coming out of the Championship than it is to stay in the Premiership.
I agree.
I think it's hard. I think there's more teams in the Championship that have a chance of coming up every season than there is teams fighting to stay in the Premier League every season. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Let me just have a quick look at how Mr. Bowe's team. It's 0-0 still, Hungerford versus Weymouth. Okay, let's let me bring this one in. Because this one upsets me, and I really hope that this one is a massive no-go.
Oh, we're going psychedelic again.
Scroll back to the top.
This isn't who I think it's going to be. Yes, it is.
So,
this will be controversial.
Yeah, and the newspaper report states that we should look elsewhere than Dele Alli.
And I agree with that statement.
You know, we should not take a punt on this guy in January. We shouldn't. I'm sorry. You know, his attitude and everything else is absolutely disgusting. You know, I can't stand him. He's arrogant. Listen, don't get me wrong. On his day, I think he's a brilliant player. You know, I remember the goal he scored.
I think all the best players have to have a degree of arrogance about them.
Listen, there's a degree of arrogance around it when you're the best player. If you are someone like Zlatan, who acts like Zlatan does, get fully behind you. But when you're someone like Dele Alli, who acts like Zlatan does, you need a punch on the end of the nose. Because he carried the way I see it, he winds me up as a player. Zlatan's a bastard, but I'd love a bastard like Zlatan at West Ham. Even now, yes, even now. Yeah. But Dele Alli isn't a bastard that I'd take. I can't stand. So this one came out earlier today, literally just as we were going live, Rob. This one, which I brought your attention to, and I just think that there are better players out there for less money that we could get our hands on, regardless of a loan signing or not. I still reckon there are better players out there than that prick. Thing
is, when was the last time we signed a player from Tottenham? I was thinking about it the other day. The only one that I could think of was Bobby Zamora, and even that was in a part exchange for Jermaine Defoe.
Can I go maybe a little bit later than that? I'm not actually sure if it is later.
Go on. We generally don't do business with Tottenham.
So go Rebrov.
No, that was before.
That was before, wasn't it? Sure. Yeah, I'll get it. Mate, I'm getting old.
But only about a year, 18 months in it, though.
Etherington.
Etherington came. No, but Zamora. Hang on, or was it? It was one of them. It was either Etherington or Zamora. I got a funny feeling it was Zamora, but it might have been Etherington.
I loved Etherington.
No, hang on, because Etherington came at the beginning of season 03-04, whereas Zamora came part way through. Because the Defoe was still there, wasn't he? And he was getting sent off every other week.
Yes.
So I think Zamora would have been the last one from Spuds that we've done any business with. It's the last one that I can remember. Then whether we've got in some bit part player that never made it, I don't know. But I'm talking like a first team player. We generally don't do business with Tottenham, and you know, long may that continue. Quite frankly, because I think Daniel Levy would try and drop our strides and bend us over.
Well, we'd probably try to do that to them and use some of the toys that we keep talking about.
Tariko was. I think Tariko was out of contract though, wasn't he?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's not talk about Spurs. I hate them. Let's move on to my next one. I'm going to save that one till last. So I'm going to whop that one out, go back psychedelic and shit. There we go. We're going to bring this guy in. Now,
I've just checked. Tariko was a free agent. So we never got him from Spurs.
Allegedly, and this is coming off of I believe this could be a Liverpool author.
This
but they're
I
saying
would be
that
very
they will
excited
let
about.
him go.
He's out of contract in the summer anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I suppose
they either let him go and they get some money for him now. And I would love this man. I would love this man.
Yep.
He scores goals. He just needs to play. I think he'd be brilliant for us. I think he'd be absolutely outstanding. The only problem is, obviously, it says there the African Cup of Nations will see Salah and Mane, Naby Keita leave, and obviously if they do let Origi go, who's 26, what are they going to be left with? But again, it just depends, doesn't it, on how Klopp sees it, what Klopp looks to bring in. Because we can sit here and go, oh, if they lose them, they're knackered. It might be that they've already got 2 or 3 signings. I mean, I know that they were interested in Kareem Adeyemi, bastards. But he's only young, so it just depends. Listen, it just depends on what way they want to go with it. But I would be all over this, Rob. Yourself?
100%. Definitely. Although Steve Irons 80 has just said, is Origi injured?
Let me take a look.
Because it will tell you on the Premier League website. I know that. But yes, I would absolutely take Origi in a heartbeat. I mean, if we could do it now, great. If we have to wait till the summer and get him on a free, okay, so be it. But I would prefer to get the deal done now because we need a goal scorer right now. So, and he knows where the back of the net is. You've only got to look at it was a half chance against us. Bang, it's in the back of the net. Done. And that's what we need. He's a finisher. And I think he's 26. So he's still sort of like yet to hit his. Yeah, agree with that, Epic. We can't. If we seriously are looking to make a tilt at that 4th place, and I'm not saying we're going to get 4th, but I think we're capable of making a push for it. And if we finish 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever, trying to aim for 4th, so be it. But we need a goal scorer now. Simple as that.
No, he picked up an injury. Klopp confirmed on Wednesday, which is why he missed the game against Villa. He's more than likely going to not face Newcastle at the weekend. No, he missed the game against Newcastle. He missed the game last weekend against Villa, so it just depends on where he's at right now. There's no more information.
What's the injury?
It doesn't say, actually.
Okay.
But apparently he's had a couple of niggly little injuries. But it doesn't say anything else. So, but I'll take him. I'll take him all day long. All day long.
Definitely.
But I've just seen Epic's comment there as well. Yeah, he's right. All day long.
Yeah,
and then Steve says a bit.
Agreed.
Steve says a little bit higher up that the AFCON might be cancelled.
Yes, I've heard that rumour.
If that's the case and they do decide to let him go, whoop-ti-doo Basil, that only benefits us massively. Because I'm telling you now, we're walking ahead of Antonio right now. I'm walking.
Can I just, at the risk of sounding like a bit of a donut, what has the AFCON got to do with Divock Origi?
Mo Salah, Naby Keita, Sadio Mane.
Got it. Yeah. So I was thinking, he's Belgian.
Yeah, no, that'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
Does us a favour. You're right, Trudge. It might have already cost us, but let's, I want to try and stay away from, a lot of the negativity. We had to get rid of some twat during the week because the bullshit negativity. That was fun.
I enjoyed that.
So I want to try and keep it a bit more upbeat and just focus on these signings and see where we go from January. Listen, we've not been on the greatest run of form, but let's see let's just see where we go. We're not going to do too much on that.
Interesting with this one, Luke. There was I was listening to TalkSport the other day, and someone made a really good point that the traditional striker is what Duke and I would have seen growing up, a sort of like hustling, bustling, proper old school number 9. Those players don't really exist anymore, and you're getting an awful lot of teams that will play an attacking midfielder in the role of the false 9, if you will. It's listen,
Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah,
they're the ones at fault.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Pep at City's done it a few times with De Bruyne playing as the 9.
De
And you're
Bruyne,
like, he's a
Sterling,
midfielder for
Mahrez,
Christ's
they
sakes.
can all get in there. You know, I wouldn't consider Mahrez or Sterling a striker. In fact, I wouldn't even call Gabriel Jesus a striker, if I'm honest with you.
John Radford.
Let's
is
go
true.
with the last one.
Go on.
And I'm going to
Steve.
give
Appreciate
you this one, Gatesy.
Yeah.
Not to talk about.
Okay.
Just his name for me.
His name.
Yeah, I just want you.
Does it tie your tongue?
Let's give
We're
it.
going psychedelic again. The magic mushroom.
Then I'll find the news report. There you go. Have some of that, and then.
Oh, you are evil. You are absolutely evil. I hate you. I hate you. Whose idea was it to do this fucking channel? I'm gonna call him Double K.
Double K.
Double K.
All right.
I'm gonna call him Double K.
Okay.
Go on.
So I think
you have a go.
Well, I'd actually say his name's Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Is where I'm going with this. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia.
I was going to say Kevin Keegan.
Now, that's where I'm at. I don't think I've done too badly with the pronunciation. I'm probably nowhere fucking near it, but let's not dick around. Now, this is the report that I read earlier. So let's bring that down there. Let's get back onto their
transfer tab
eventually. Yeah, a bit like Lewisham Tavern
publication.
A bit like Lewisham Tavern.
That is true, Luke. I think we'll have to shorten it, won't we?
Yeah, Double K.
Yeah.
So, this is the one that came out. What time did this come out? Because I had the news report. There you go, 1:15. This one came out on the Transfer Tavern, and this guy. If I could go back to the original report, it actually says. I've lost it again, Rob. What? There you go. West Ham plotting move for incredible and expensive attacker who is likened to Messi.
Ooh, that's high praise.
And it says
then
there,
again, Freddie Adu was likened to Pele.
Mate, I was likened to no one. It says there. As per Football Insider journalist Wayne Vasey, some news has emerged that West Ham's transfer plans for January are now a new forward on the agenda in Ruben Kazan forward Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Hey, I did it again. See that? The Irons are still competing on all fronts, with David Moyes aiming to bolster his squad in January and cope with the increasing congested fixture calendar, which is only going to get worse if they do decide to lock it down again. Now, injuries to Ogbonna and Zuma have prompted them to also hunt for an emergency centre-half, but that hasn't stopped them from being linked to other forward options. Now, I'd like to point out there, we can't stop being linked. It's not something we're linking ourselves with.
No.
This is what we are being linked with, you know?
Yep.
So, Lingard is thought to be on the agenda, while Moyes and recruitment chief Rob Norman are also seeking out a centre-forward as backup to Mikel Antonio. Now some news has emerged on this fella. Now I've had a little look. He scored the 2 goals for Georgia over Sweden last month. He's also targeted by the likes of Tottenham before. He's got bags of ability, and journalist Fabrizio Romano, taken to his Twitch stream earlier this year, explained that he's incredible. Now, he had many suitors in the summer window, including Dortmund. Again, you're kind of looking at that and you're kind of going, well, no disrespect to West Ham, but if Dortmund come looking, you see what they do for their younger players, Rob, and we had this discussion before. If I was Kvaratskhelia, knowing what they can do for youngsters, I'd be looking at Dortmund all day long. No disrespect.
How old is this guy?
He's 20, Rob.
Oh.
So if I come off of this one and
We've got the transfer
leave
market.
that one up and running, there you go. So he's 20 years old. He'll be 21 on the February the 12th.
Yeah.
He's only been involved in 4 goals in 15 games. And if we scroll down, you can see there he is a left winger that can play as an attacking midfielder and a right winger. Now, my only concern with this one, Rob, is the fact that we have an abundance of these players already. Bowen can play right, left, and centre. Benrahma can play right, left, and centre. If we go after Lingard, he can play right, left, and centre. Lanzini, Fornals,
Would this
Vlasic.
be instead of Lingard rather than with him then, do you think?
Listen, I think the Lingard one is pretty much done and dusted, looking at it. And it
So
wouldn't surprise me if the Ake one, if you believe some of the stuff you read, and I've seen it about 4 or 5 times now from 4 or 5 different sources, that Ake and Lingard have made it perfectly clear that they would favour a move to West Ham in January than they would favour a move to
Do you know what? I was going to save this till the end, Trodge. You've read my mind. I was actually going to do that as a little bit of a discussion point and see how people reacted, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back to it. You're forgiven, Trodge. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, he can't play in Italy because they have a rule that was written in about 5 or 6 years ago due to a player having such an incident in their league that if you have a heart
defibrillator
issue,
or
be it it doesn't even have to be that, Rob. If there's some sort of if you've got heart arrhythmia or anything else, it means it beats out of time.
I think it's if you've got a device.
Game over.
Yeah, because he's got something that he's got fitted that regulates the tempo of his heart, essentially, from what I understand. And I think the rules in Serie A, it's like, sorry, mate.
That's because they had an issue out there a few years ago, if I remember rightly, that had to be brought in place. Now, yes is my answer. Yes is my answer.
To Eriksen.
To Christian Eriksen. If you know.
Okay.
Listen.
I thought I'd get a bit more stick when I sort of put my head above the parapet, because obviously I was aware that his deal at Inter Milan got terminated yesterday, and I immediately thought, do you know what? If I go on to Forged and say Eriksen, would he be a possibility? I sort of thought, do you know what? I'm probably going to get a load of people telling me that I'm being a bit stupid, or that's completely idiotic. It's a risk, this, that, and the other. However, you've just said you'd go for it.
You give him, Casey. You give him a pay as you play. You give him a basic wage. Bloody hell! I'm gonna, Casey. I've got to go. I've got a new game. I've got to go play. Apparently.
Yeah, I'll bet you have.
It looks good though, doesn't it? Look, she's anyway. She's got a smile on her face. I ain't fucking watching that though. I ain't watching that though.
Nah, me neither. I never got into it.
Listen, I tell you what. I'd only. Oh, hang on. I've got a video playing. Poxy. Go away. Thank you. I only want to sign Christian Eriksen because of where he was born. I'm not sure if you can see that.
I can't.
Where he was born in Middelfart. Now, that's the only reason that the childish behaviour inside me wants to sign him is because he was born in Middelfart. I think at 29. Listen, again, Luke, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen and everything else. Okay.
No, I haven't seen anything that's linked him to us. It was just a mischievous thought that came to me.
If he feels he is ready and he gets it all clear, we're talking the best part of 6 months. Now, obviously,
Kanu had a heart problem in his early stages of his career at Inter Milan before he went to Arsenal.
Now, he obviously feels he can still offer something, which is why he's had that contract terminated under mutual consent. with them because he feels that he can. He feels that he could
You're in the
probably
wrong place,
still.
Steve.
He probably could still feel that he offers something. Okay, obviously. Now,
Yeah.
the question is when. Now, I guarantee you there are going to be dozens of clubs out there talking to this fella, including Spurs. I have no doubt that Spurs will have a little conversation with him. But yes is the answer. I think it'd be an outstanding signing. It just depends on whether he's ready to go. You said Luke says there, no way to Eriksen. Sorry, the lad needs time out. Yep, I completely agree that if he doesn't feel he's ready, then no. But obviously he knows his body, and he knows that if he feels he can play, he can play. I say that he knows his
Cheers,
body.
Steve.
I guarantee.
Take care, mate.
Cheers, Steve. Guarantee he probably didn't know that he was going to have a heart attack when he stepped onto
Yeah.
that game, onto the field for that game. But again, that being said, if he feels he's ready and he's ready to return, he's got plenty to offer. I really do think he has. And you know what? Premiership's a different beast, yeah. But that as long as he's got his fitness, and by that I mean as long as he's got his fitness, and by that I mean he's been given the all clear of the heart, and then he's built his fitness up to be able to play Premier League football. Listen, he had that heart problem when he played at Spurs. Let's not dick around. This is not something that came out of the blue and was. This has obviously been a build-up. He's obviously had this problem all his life. There's obviously something that's happened. So, no, give it up a chance, mate. I'd rip your arm off if someone went to me, here's Eriksen. Because he's from Middelfart, and I don't know if you can see this here, just to let you know. He's the cousin of Andreas Eriksen, who currently plays for a football team in the town where they were born, Gatesy, in Middelfart Bold Club. I am going to be on Football Manager once we finish this, and I am going to go manage Middelfart Bold Club.
Just because you can.
You know what? Yes.
Fair enough. Getting back to Kevin Keegan or whatever his name was, because we've obviously digressed from him. Obviously, when Christian
hang on.
Eriksen's
Yeah, I've
name
got to
came
go
up.
back tonight because I kind of tripped his name out. You want about Khvicha Kvaratskhelia? Is that the one? And I'd like to point out his name ain't even on the screen, Rob. His name ain't even on the screen.
You've done well.
And I still got his name right.
You've got it written down in front of you on a piece of paper on the desk, haven't you?
There it is. Look, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Yep.
Yeah. So you were saying about Dortmund?
Yeah, like I say, we know what they do. We know what they can do with youngsters, don't we? They have a clause written.
That sounds a bit odd.
No. You're now taking it and turning it because you are being rude.
Words came out of your mouth, not mine.
Listen, we know what they do with the younger players when they sign them onto new contracts. Is that better for you?
Well, actually, I'm not sure. Actually,
they guarantee them something like a minimum of, I think it's 18 starts across the 2 years, and that's 18 Bundesliga starts across 2 years. So why would you not want to sign for a side that's going to guarantee you that in a good league? I'm on it, Cyber. In a good league, why would you not want to take that chance of a side improving you dramatically? I mean, let's take a look at Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham has come on leaps and ruddy bounds over the last 18 months.
Yeah. Sancho before that.
Haaland let's not lie, Haaland was good before he went to Dortmund. Haaland is now exceptional. Now he's at Dortmund. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I listen, we can't, for me, I don't think we can compete with Dortmund until we qualify for Champions League football. Then we might be able to compete. So if us and Dortmund go in for this lad at, say, 20 million quid, I'm sorry, but I think if I was in his shoes, and I distanced myself from the West Ham supporting kind of things, I would, I would choose Dortmund.
Just in answer to this one, and it's a complete guess. We don't know. How much do you think we've got in January?
Me personally.
What's your opinion?
It just depends, buddy, on whether it just depends on whether is it Berezutski? Kutinsky. Oh, Berezutski was the Russian player that used to play in Italy, I think. Used to be one of my go-tos. If Kutinsky decides he's going to put his hand in his pocket, I think we could have up to between 50 and 75 million.
Really?
If he wants to stick his fingers in his pocket, yeah, I do.
I think top whack 50. I'm expecting possibly 30, 35, probably.
I have a feeling that if he's going to embarrass the other two, and he goes, tell you what, he's 50, but I need you to back it up, they might chuck in another 25 million quid. Because it's not just them two now. If it was just them two, I'd agree with Luke, and we'd probably have 25 million quid, and that'd be it. But it's not about just them two anymore, and we've got a guy that's got a bit of cash behind him, and you know what, he might be the one that sorts out the deal of Adam Hlozek coming over. He might be the one that goes out and spends, a bit of cash on another centre back, and then it might just be that the two Pratts, the Poison Dwarf and Father Christmas and the Streetwalker allegedly, they might drop the loan money or the money down for Lingard again. So yeah, I have a feeling that we could. I want to talk to where was that question gone? Alex. I want to talk about Alex's question.
What, this one?
Seeing as I've covered his first one. Let me click it. That one. Seeing as we've covered the bulk of transfers, have you got any more on transfers that you want to discuss?
No, I think we've been going for over 2 hours.
Yeah,
now,
I just realised that and nearly passed out. I'm surprised my voice hasn't gone yet.
Well, the missus has just turned around and called us a pair of old women.
Yeah, I know. That's fair enough. Well, we got 20 people watching, so
I would actually.
I consider it to be a blessing, Alex. And I'll tell you why. The likes of Glenn Ben Johnson, the likes of Cresswell. It gives them just a little period of being able to come back, and it just gives us another week. Well, yeah, about a week of being able to get these guys back fit. I just hope that we don't end up with a situation of COVID bollocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true enough. What about his second question?
I don't think it's going to go ahead at the moment with the amount of Omicron, and I hate peddling the bullshit of it. But apparently there was another 100,000 cases today. Great. It was 86 yesterday. Let me just Omicron cases. The new variant has tripled to more than 10,000 in the last 24 hours. So I don't know what the overall scope of the cases are, but they're already talking about local lockdowns and 2-week circuit breakers. Can't see that in that sense that we'd bearing in mind that the Omicron was first detected in South Africa, African nations, are the government in this country going to allow anyone that's been to those countries to come back? Are players going to want to put on hold X amount of time being back in this country when coming back to play for their their clubs?
Well, they'd be put straight into some sort of self-isolation.
They'll have to. There'll be no two ways about it. There'll be no way they can walk back into their clubs and play. So there'll be a massive kind of there's a massive kind of grey area, and I just don't see how it could possibly go ahead.
Yeah.
That I don't know about.
Which one? Kretinsky paying off the debt.
Paying off the loan. I don't know.
Not sure. Not sure. All I know is that he's got 27% of West Ham United, and you know how the mechanics of that particular deal worked. I do not know. 90,418.
You know, the worst part for me is I avoided this bullshit for 2 years, Rob. I had it back in December 19, and bearing in mind what industry I work in, you know, I avoided it for 2 years, and now, you know, and it's bollocks, by the way. It is horrible. Like I said to you earlier, I feel like I'm breathing through a wet cloth at times, and it's getting harder now because obviously the longer we've gone on, the more I'm talking, the drier my throat's getting. So yeah, it feels like I'm breathing for a fucking wet rag. I'll tell you what, I feel like those that were at Guantanamo Bay, you know, when the Yanks had
the waterboarding,
and they were yeah. But listen, I mean, yeah, Cyber, I did send you a message back, didn't I? He's got some bits and pieces, some nice memorabilia bits. Yeah, I did. I sent you a message saying they look cool. They do look cool. He's got an official memorabilia pack. They're all like
I think he sent it to me as well. Hang on.
Programs and stuff. Look, there you go.
Sorry, Mo.
They look
I
quite
know.
Epic, behave yourself.
And you got that from where?
He got it off of
Amazon.
A charity shop. No, they sell it on Amazon for 30 quid. He got it out of a charity shop for a tenner.
No, let's not Epic.
Being facetious.
Let's not.
Is that Peter Jones? Is this Peter Jones here? Is he the guy off of Dragon's Den? If so, could he just
It's not that Peter Jones.
Is this Gatesy? Is this here? This little comment here? One of them naughty virusy type websites. So
probably.
No,
block it.
That one there.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna block user. She can pin off. There was another one that came up earlier. I don't know.
I was looking at it and thinking, what the bloody hell's that? I've got to be honest.
It's one of them naughty websites that they comment.
Yeah.
And you don't. Yeah, they are. Yeah, you don't want to click them because they offer you all sorts, and the only thing you end up walking away with is a lack of money. It's the same as them, you know, them high number channels, Gatesy, on Sky. You know, the ones where you phone them up and you know, you phone them up and they go, "What can I do for you? Phone me back, it's cheaper." I mean, that's the general.
Oh dear. I've never looked at those channels. Sorry.
Don't lie to me. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you a story, boys and girls, about Rob. He was watching one of them channels once, fell asleep with a sock on it, and you know, no, it's not true. I can't tell that story, Rob. I'm sorry.
You can tell it, and I'm just going to laugh.
Dressing gown open, sock over the end. And then the worst part of it was he put the sock on the next morning. It's like treading in Play-Doh.
It's only banter, guys. It's only banter. Should we leave it there?
You used to have one of them socks. You'd have to use a toffee hammer to put it on the next morning.
You're horrible.
I know, right? That's just me.
I'm going to get rid of that. Guys, those of you still watching, we're going to call it a day shortly, but please don't forget this. Get this onto your social media platforms. You can find it in the description below, YouTube and Facebook. There's no excuse. You can copy and paste it. Done. You know the crack with Isla. Time is ticking. We need to try and get this little girl as many Christmases as possible. So please get stuck into it. Get it on your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, all of that, Instagram. If you've got a few bob spare, I know Christmas is coming up and all the rest of it, but please, there is a Just Giving link there. This family have been through absolute hell like you cannot understand, seriously. So let's try and come together and help them out. I couldn't care less if you're a West Ham fan, football fan. I couldn't care less if you've got a decent bone in your body. Let's come together and let's help this family out, especially given the time of year we're at, Christmas. But yeah, at the very least, put it onto your social media platforms, guys. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. And please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, Duke, we thank you for our support.
Yeah, listen, your support, guys. Even. If I may, just touching on that. Listen, Iron Man can't come back, Cyber, because he's
we
been banned.
banned him.
He's
gone.
The ban hammer.
He might
fell.
watch, but he can't.
So that Just Giving link, Gatesy, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm literally covered right now. 69,198 pounds to give Isla.
And did you see who's donated?
Tyson.
The WBC Ring Magazine and Lineal Heavyweight Champion of the World, the undefeated Tyson Fury.
Brilliant. Just if you guys are friends with Nicola, if anyone here is on Facebook with Nicola, it would seem that today is Isla's Christmas. They look like they're having a big old Christmas day for her today. So if you are friends, or if you see anything shared through Facebook, through any of the West Ham groups, etc., do me a favour, guys. Just jump on, and I'm about to do so. I've got it open on here, ready to send a little Merry Christmas message to Isla. If you guys can do that, if you like I say, if you're friends with Nicola on Facebook, if you're not, and you see anything shared through links that Nicola shares herself, which is quite a lot. Please just jump on and send her a little happy Christmas message, because I tell you what, it will mean the world to them. It really will.
Is she live at the minute, Duke?
I'm not sure if she's live at the minute. Let me come out of there, Rob. No, it was shared as a video that Nicola shared about half an hour ago. Massive thank you to the wonderful, kind people that made today magical. I can't tag you all. We are forever grateful to you all. And there's a little video of Isla opening probably about 17,486 Christmas presents. And she's literally covered. Looks like she's laying on a bed or on the sofa, and she is covered. So if you guys can jump on and just send her, if you're friends with her, jump on and send Isla a little, Merry Christmas message, whatever, because it will, obviously it'll mean the world. You guys, as Luke says there, 70k. And it's, to be fair, Luke, I know for a fact it's not just West Ham fans. I've got Millwall fans that have jumped on there, that have obviously offered, have donated some money. We know that Tyson Fury stepped forward with it was the shirt of the suit, wasn't it, Gatesy?
I think
a couple of signed gloves, I think, were on there, and maybe a pair of shorts or some boots that he's worn. I know for a fact that via Instagram that a lot of influencers as well have got behind this cause. A lot of well-known names within YouTube and Instagram. I'm an Instagram model, and I'm a soldier. I'm a sergeant in Call of Duty. Them ones. But they've thrown their weight behind this. These are some of these people have got like 1.2 million pound. 1.2 million followers on Instagram and shit like this, and it's just been absolutely outstanding, the response. I mean, we were going to do a video at the start of the week, Rob, weren't we? Was it Monday that was meant to be the Burnley review, and neither of us could bring ourselves to do it because of obviously the news that we'd received. But you know what, Luke? Yes, it's heartbreaking that's what it takes. But you know what? We've made that little girl's Christmas, and nothing. Listen, there's nothing we're going to be able to do that's going to take away the pain that Nicola's obviously feeling right now, and obviously the family and the friends and everyone else, and I include Baz Cox in that as well, because Baz has done so much for this family.
Massively.
Robert Snodgrass, absolute fucking legend of a player. Dropped £1,000 into this kitty at the start of the week when it all came out. And let's be honest, Snodgrass has nothing to do with the club anymore, but he absolutely loves that little girl. Nicola posted up something where Snoddy and Nobes visited them in hospital in Spain, if I remember rightly, and just an absolutely outstanding effort by the club and everyone else. So, we can. We do what we can do. Nicola obviously appreciates it. We can't, nothing's going to take away the pain. Nothing's even going to, unless we go through something incredibly similar. None of us are going to know the pain that this family are going through and the friends and that. All we can do is try and do what we can to make Isla's, remaining time with us the best that it can be. It's just so bollocks it also, takes place in this time of, the pandemic and everything else. Obviously makes things so much harder. But you guys are amazing. Not just the West Ham fans, football fans in general. I know there's only 16 of you guys here. There's only the two of us here, and there are many, many more. Many more out there that that have donated to this cause, and it means the world to us. I'm getting choked up because my son. I've tried to protect him from this side of it because he's obviously the same age as Isla, and he heard myself and my partner having a conversation about it the other day, and I had to try and steer the conversation away because of it's kind of that mortality part, and he was having a bit of trouble not so long ago with death and everything else. So, but no, you guys are amazing. We've been amazing as a fan base going forward. It was lovely that every other fan base and every other person, from Tyson Fury to the YouTube influencers, to the Instagram influencers that have got involved, that have pushed that to something like, I think it was 465% more than what they were looking to. I think that's what it said. So absolutely amazing, wonderful people. And like I say, if you can jump on there, send her a little Christmas message.
Massively.
I'm gonna momentarily. Wonderful. That's sorry to leave it on a bit of a downer. As Luke says, can we talk about how old you are, Rob? Do you remember the coronation of the Queen?
Like it was yesterday.
I'm pleased for you.
Any final words?
We're a week out of Christmas. Yes. We will do something in the build up to cheers, Knobheads. You're welcome.
Cheers, bud.
We will do something as we get closer to Christmas. I know I'm very conscious that I don't want to take people away from their families at Christmas. I don't want to take Rob away from his family at Christmas, although he'll probably appreciate it because she's a spud. But we will do something to say thank you for the last year that you guys have been part of this with us. The last 10 months as we go. And we're fucking massive as a YouTube channel and as a football club.
I'll take that. Come on, you Irons.